Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mother Mary monthly message for 5/5 of 2020. My name is Dr. Samarah Grace Daniels, and I'm coming to you live from the beautiful island of Kauai, where, like all of us, we're on lockdown, but there's certainly a lot of beauty here that I can see out my window. So I want to welcome you today because it's a very, very powerful, powerful time. 5 and 5. You know, they make it 10, which could be a new beginning, but 5 is almost always about change. For those of you that follow astrology, there's a lot of planetary things going on, but I think the most important thing to realize is that we're coming together here in the midst of this pandemic to look for sort of what our North Star is going to be, what's going to be our guiding light as we all go through the challenges and changes that are here. And certainly everybody's talking about going back to normal, but I don't know. I think it's really going to be an amazing time of change. And so I've been channeling Mother Mary since the late 1990s. And I've traveled all over the world. That's how I know most of you that are here on the call. And Mother Mary has always said that what she wants more than anything is for people to understand and live a life of love. And one time we had asked her, you know, why do you keep coming? 2,000 years, you must be a little sick of this. And she said, I keep coming because you still don't know what love is. And so I think as we reflect on that, and as she brings through the message today, I'd like that to be our theme. Back in April, she gave us an exercise. You can go and rewatch the video if you didn't see it before, where she talked about how we breathe in light and then breathe out peace or breathe out balance or breathe out harmony into our world. And today, I think more than anything, she's going to talk a little bit more about how do we stay centered in ourselves and in love when the world is going through so many different machinations and changes and ideas. And, you know, we want to listen to an expert, but then this one says this and this one says that. How do we center and stay in peace? And so what I've found for myself is that it's a little more difficult for anybody that's ever sailed into a storm. Learning how to captain your boat in a storm is a challenge that requires some mastery, some experience, some trust, and certainly some sweat, blood, and tears sometimes. And so I think what we're doing now in the middle of this 2020 pandemic is we're learning how to sail our ship through stormy seas. And so it's not always easy, but I think today she'll be providing you with some ideas about how to stay true to yourself, how to stay true to who you are, how to be able to be surrounded and feel love, and at the same time, be able to navigate and offer out to others, you know, whatever is your part of the mission. So it's my great joy and pleasure to bring you these messages. And I would just invite you, as always, if it feels loving and right for you, take it in. If there's portions of it that don't seem to feel right for you, then just let those go, because your ship and your mastery of the ship is the most important thing. Your ship, the love boat, you know, for each of us. If you want or need any more information, I have a website. It's at samarahgrace.com. And you can also email me at samarahgrace1111@gmail.com. I love to talk to anyone about their journey, and I do offer private sessions for anybody who has that as an interest. But again, thank you. Get ready to just feel the yumminess and love of Mother Mary. And in a moment, we'll also be recording this. If we're not already, I don't even know if we are. I guess we are. And then at the end of her message, we'll stop the video and I'll be able to take some questions. We got one of the biggest groups I've ever had. I'm so happy that at the moment we got 25 people here on Zoom. So take a moment, just feel yourself being in your heart and being open to the loving message of Mother Mary. So thank you. Well, hello to all my darlings. I want to be sure to give you the most amazing information today. So Samarah was using the analogy of ships, and I'm going to stick with that for a moment. So you have to decide, do I want to be on the love boat or part of the ship of fools? And you might say, well, that's not a very difficult decision. I want to be in the love boat. Right. I want to be in the love boat. I don't want to be part of the ship of fools that's going around and crashing into each other and doing crazy things and all of that. So how do you become the love boat for yourself and therefore be able to navigate with love through the work and the world that you're navigating? There's a few fairly simple steps. Now, I didn't say easy, but I said simple. The first and most important step is to look and feel in yourself what I'm going to call your I am identity. Now, in the world, you might say, well, you know, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm an Indian chief, I'm a mother, I'm a this, I'm a that, and that's fine. But that's not your I am divine identity. And so if you limit yourself to your worldly identity, it's like you're cutting off your oxygen supply. You're cutting off your light supply by just staying in this 3D identity of being, again, and there's nothing wrong with being a doctor, a lawyer, an Indian chief, a mother, a grandmother. That's all good. However, it's limiting your ability to really understand why you're here and how to navigate in these very difficult waters. And so your true I am identity, and I'm going to use some words, but again, all of you are invited to create a mantra, an I am statement that allows you to really live and be true to your divine identity while you're navigating your worldly identity. So here's a couple of ideas. And again, we invite you later to choose your own words in your own way. But one way is to say, I am a divine being having a human experience. I'm a divine being. I am a divine woman or man of light and love. I am an infinite, inviolate chalice of love. I am part of all of the energies that God is. And so as you begin to build that more and more, in not only in your consciousness, but as your truth, you see, there's the piece that we're moving into for the rest of this year and into the future. As your truth, to say, I am a divine being having a human experience, shifts your calibration, shifts your oxygen level, shifts your light level to have a greater expanse and a greater experience. So that then when you go to be the doctor, the lawyer, the Indian chief, the mother, the grandmother, the sister, the brother, whatever, you're not only doing that, you're bringing your greater identity into the equation. So there's a whole lot of information that you can all research on the internet about the I am teachings and all of that. But the simple thing, not always easy, but the simple thing is to say, I am, and then feel what comes. I am a divine being. I am a chalice of light. I am here to be love. So what you're doing with all of that is you're building your truth, your knowing of what is really how you want to live. Because in a way, what you're doing it's not exactly an immune system in the typical way that the medical people talk about it, but it makes you so much stronger that you're less likely to be swayed by information that is sent to you from 3D that is, difficult or challenging or, just flotsam and jetsam. So it's like, if I'm going to navigate through this storm that we're in, you've all been given your time outs to a certain extent. It's like, what a perfect time to get your ship shape, right? Ship shape on your ship. And so the I am is really, how do I identify myself and my own truth? My own truth. Who am I? Yes, I might be a mother or a father or this or that, and that's all wonderful. We're in no way diminishing that. But without your greater identity being available to you, it becomes more and more difficult to navigate your human experience. So you think about the great ship captains, coming across the Atlantic or the Pacific with terrible winds and storms coming through. Certainly they were frightened from time to time. There's a very real aspect to a storm. The waves are crashing, the wind is blowing, the sails perhaps are becoming tattered. But how do they not fall victim to that? How do they stay strong? They, in this analogy, they identify with, well, I am the captain. I'm responsible for getting my ship safely through this storm. And what I say to each of you is, you are each the captains of your own ship. You're in charge of your energy. You're in charge of your thoughts. You're in charge of your choices. You're in charge of your truth and how you then formulate that and then turn to whatever you have to do in the world, but bring all of that with you. Now, the I am is the first and most important step you can take. How do you identify? Now, when you do that, there's often a little interrupting voice that goes, oh, well, who do you think you are? Don't you remember that, you lied to so-and-so and you did this in 4th grade and you didn't do this and blah, 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 and da, 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 and you failed over here. All of that has to be set free. And what do I mean by that? Whatever you did or didn't do, whatever sins you allegedly committed or failures you feel you've had, they do not define you unless you allow it. Last month, I talked about Nelson Mandela and how he maintained his vision and his purpose to liberate his people. And although he was in prison for many, many years, ultimately he succeeded. He weathered his storms. Your storms are different right now. They're really storms of fearful thought, along with the reality of this virus, okay? So there's sort of two things going on. Now, the reality is there is a virus, and there are things recommended that you do, and we invite you to follow your own guidance, wearing the mask, doing whatever you feel is appropriate for you to do. But on a larger level, recognize, what is this virus really? And I think if you look at it from the metaphysical point of view, now I'm not diminishing, again, the physical view. There is a physical reality. People are dying. Nurses and doctors are putting themselves in harm's way. We are not denying that. But again, like I'm saying, how can you respond to being love rather than fear in your personal life? How can you become more loving and less fearful in the global view. And it's to recognize this virus is inviting everyone to look at their lives and say, is this the best I can do? Is this the best I can do? Is this how I want to live? Is this the way I want to see people treated? Is this the way I want to see healthcare? Is this the way I want to put my money in certain businesses or not? It's a time of saying, what is it that is important to seed in the world? Those of you that came today, I talked about what are the seeds that we would plant. And the reason I'm sort of mixing some of these metaphors between ships and seeds is that I hope that all of you can really take in what I'm offering to you. The virus, and any virus that comes, is seeded out of neglect, right? And it's also seeded from a disparity between how you say you want to live, and I mean that in a general way, and how you actually are living. So what do I mean by that? Almost everyone would say, I want clean air and food for everyone and no children starving and the end of the sex trade. And, you know, we would all sort of get in a room and say, yes, that's what we want. Yes, absolutely. But then as everyone in the world kind of retreats back into a certain comfort zone, it's sort of like, well, hopefully someone else is taking care of that. So the virus is here to basically say, everyone is carrying a certain power in their being and in their breath, whether they know it or not. So you could literally infect someone without yourself having any symptoms. Well, you could potentially infect them with a virus, all right. But what if you could carry instead the seeds of hope and the seeds of change? And so your ship, now the ship of love, the love boat, breathes out, not only am I a divine being, a chalice of love and light, now here's the next part of changing the storm. So again, I don't want to shortchange this process. The first step is to really identify with your divinity, your connection to the divine, however you see that, however you feel that. If you need to meditate or sing or walk in nature or dance or do Reiki, do any and all of those things so that you become, and it's true for you to say, I am a divine being living a human experience. Once that is really your truth, when you feel that, when you know that, now this next part of being in the world is to not only breathe in light and breathe out harmony as we did last month on the call, but to breathe in light and now to begin to breathe out, whether it's in your living room or on your walk or on a Zoom call or wherever you go. I see and feel and know the creation of a world, and now you can fill in the blanks, of love, of peace, of justice, of equality, of freedom, of a consciousness that all that I do affects everyone. This is the part that the virus is here to teach all of you. All that you do affects everyone. Everyone. Sooner or later, what you breathe in and what you breathe out is what someone else is breathing in. really get that. You are the breath of God. You are the breath of God. And so rather than reacting in fear to that which is going on in the world, rather than, going down below and just telling the ship do whatever it wants, and I'm going to just put myself under the covers, and whatever happens, I'll hopefully emerge, or maybe not, or whatever. No, all of you that are here, because you're even interested enough to be on the call, you made a promise to be here on the earth at this time, when in a way there's the most to gain and the most that can be lost. Because the world is at this place of, are we going to only be human, robotic, following, little ants around, not listening to our own divine guidance? Or are we going to awaken to our greater possibility? Are we going to live the divinity that we came to live in the human experience we came to have? And so, to the greatest extent that you can, I don't want you to fear the virus. I want you to recognize the teaching that is here, that what I breathe in, someone else has breathed out, right? Ultimately. And so what can I do? I can become the breath of love. I can become the breath of God. First for myself, by recognizing that identity and really allowing that identity to be my truth. So again, this is part of that first practice, to realize I am a divine being having a human experience. So how do I pull in more of that? How do I breathe in that light and that love? And again, there's so many practices you all already know, meditation, yoga, nature, chanting, dance, singing, Reiki, EMF, all of these wonderful things. But as you're doing those things, one of the most powerful things you can do is to merge that with a mantra that you create that begins with those two words, I am. I am the breath of God in the body of Samarah. I am the breath of God in the body of Danae. I am the breath of God, and we could go through the whole list here, period. And now what's happening is literally, and those of you that want to go to wonderful websites, Greg Braden and some of these others that are proving the physics of light, if you need that for your own mind to take it in, please go and look and see. As you're doing that, the filaments in your physical body that hold the light of who you are go from like 60 watts to 200 or greater, right? So the light is always there. The light in you never goes away. But how do you enhance it and make it brighter for yourself first, but then for how you navigate this world? And so the I am statement in and of itself could just sound like an empty, affirmation. It could. It's for you to really ingest it. Let it be delivered into your body and being. Let it build in such a way that the filaments of light, what people call your light body, isn't outside of you somewhere. Your higher self isn't, up in the stars somewhere. You have become your higher self. You have inhabited your light body. And therefore now, as you go out into your life to do whatever you're wanting to do or share, that volume of light is what you're bringing. That volume of light is what you're not only breathing in, it's what you're breathing out. And as we said, everyone is breathing in the air that's been breathed out by someone or everyone. So the more of you that are breathing in your own light, the truth of who you are, using the mantra you've created. That's why I'm giving you some examples, but it's so much more powerful to let it come to you and to fill you and to feel that and to then make it your own. So now when you go out in the world, and you can go out from, as you can see here in Zoom, from the joy of your living room or wherever you are, having that as your navigational element. I am a child of God in a body of light. Okay, so now I breathe in light and I breathe out love. And now, in addition to that, I breathe out the world I now choose to live in, which is the seeds that are being planted. Now, as you all know from gardening, you might plant a seed and then you still need to water it and make sure that there's not weeds choking it and all of that. So this will be an ongoing process for several decades to come. I mean, I would love to say it'll all be done next week, but that would be a lie. Because what you're doing is you're changing the world of form, the 3D world, and that's taken a long time to be as it is, into a very new creation. A world of light, a world of love, a world of beauty and bounty. And so for each of you, the seeds that are important to you, and this is the third part of my teaching for today. So the first part is the I am, building that up beautifully. The second part is now breathing out all of these wonderful things. And the third part is choosing the seeds that matter to you. Now, here, the reason I want to say it as clearly as I can, obviously there's many, many different issues in your world. And it can be overwhelming to think, well, you know, should I focus on world hunger? Should I focus on sex trafficking? Should I focus on, you know, what? Don't go out there and try to figure it out. Be in your beautiful I am presence and ask, what's my part in the new world? What's my part? And then see what shows up. And it might be around agriculture. There's going to be many, many changes in how agriculture comes to be. It might be in education. As you've seen already, there's going to be many, many changes in education. It might be in healthcare. It might be in being a bringer of hope. It might be in being a healer. It might be in just so many ways. And don't rush yourself. You can, in the beginning, just say, I'm planting the seeds of hope and love and justice and equality and all of that. But as you ask, what's my part? There's a tremendous satisfaction that I really want for each of you that comes when you know that your purpose is certainly to be the love boat that you can be, but also now to have your part in the changing world. And to do it, I'm going to say, in a way that brings you a special kind of peace, a special kind of satisfaction. In the meantime, while you're waiting for, you know, sort of that to be clear, there are several practices that will get you even closer. So this is sort of extra credit homework. The fourth thing. Water needs to be blessed. I would invite all of you, beginning today, to every day do a blessing for the water. You can take your cup that you're drinking from You can put your hands on it. And again, I will say certain words. My words don't have the magic. Your words have your truth. But you can say, let this water be blessed with the light of love, the light of equality, the light of justice, the light of harmony, the light of my I am presence. That I may continue to be a greater and greater blessing in the world. Doesn't cost you anything, and it gives you and gives the water so much. Those of you that live near bodies of water that you can get to under these different regulations, you can do the same thing. If you can't even get there and touch it, you can still, in your vision, in your meditation, in your way of being, you can still do the same thing. You can say, let the Atlantic Ocean be blessed, let the Pacific Ocean be blessed, let the lake that is near me be blessed. And again, many of you are trained in energy modalities, and that's fabulous. But if you're not, it doesn't matter. Your intention to let the light that you are be received by the water begins to elevate the water that, as I said, has had the breath of other things put into it. So every day that you do this blessing for the water, imagine in the world all of the waters becoming clearer, brighter, more light-filled, more love-filled, that can hold the energy of the new world that you're birthing, of love and justice and equality for all. So quick review. The very first thing you can do, and the most essential if you don't do anything else, is to recognize, allow, know, and give energy to who you really are by creating an I am statement that feels right to you. I am a divine being. I am a light-filled being. I am a being of love. Again, work with that. The second thing is to really let that build and to breathe that out into the world, knowing that you're bringing that breath. The third thing is to choose the seeds that you would plant. And if you're not sure yet, that's all right. Just keep breathing out equality and justice and the things that you want to see. And soon, sort of what's there for you, the people that naturally navigate to you. It doesn't have to be hard. Your purpose, once you simply align with, I want to be the light that I am and bring that into this world, it's like certain things will show up. And then just attend to that in your own way. And then the extra credit assignment, which I hope you also do every day, is to bless the water. Many of you are familiar with Dr. Emoto's experience. And the reason I bring it up for the recording is if you're not, go and look at what happens to water when it's blessed. He has all the pictures from the microscopic examinations that they did. And so you begin to see that even if I'm in my living room, unable to travel out and do what I'd otherwise enjoy to do, I can bless the water. First of all, because my body is already whatever, 80-some% water, and so I'm blessing all of that. And then I'm sending it out to the waters of the world. And of course, as any good ship captain knows, the calmer and more beautiful the water, the easier it is to sail. So for each of you, what I wish for you is safe passage. Safe passage. But choose to be the love boat. Don't get on the ship of fools. unless you really want to, and then, you know, it's a free will world. So for May 5th of 2020, the rest of this year can be changed in your own experience today. Today, by saying your I am statement, I am a divine being, and I choose to carry the light of God that is mine to carry. That isn't arrogant. That isn't arrogant. It's really your divine inheritance. You came to be a divine spark of God living a human experience. And again, it doesn't take away from your human experience. It just brings in so much more light. And then that's what you're breathing out that everyone else can breathe in if they choose to. And don't fear the virus. Just say, I see the storm and I'm going to become the best captain I can be for my boat, my love boat. And once you've got that going, now you can teach the others how to navigate the waters that they find difficult. So for today, I'm going to end by just announcing for each of you, you have been anointed and appointed, not by me, not by Samarah, but by your divine complement, the beings that guide you, the teachers, the masters, the angels, your departed loved ones that are with you. They have anointed and appointed you to be here in this world at this time and to wake up and live your divinity. So please do so. So I'm going to end the video, and those who have been kind enough to join online on Zoom, I'll be able to take questions in a moment. But again, I want to offer to each of you, be the calm in the storm. Be the calm in the storm. You have the power. You have the authority. It is a choice you can make. I bring you all so much love. Namaste.